This video is presented by mybookie.ag. We are here. The UFC 275 predictions headlined by Glover Teixeira versus Jiri Prochazka and Valentina Shevchenko versus Taila Santos. The card is kind of short. There are some canceled fights like the one that broke my heart. Robert Whittaker versus Marvin Vettori was supposed to be on the card, but now we are left with 12 total fights. There's going to be 3 on the early prelims, 4 on the prelims, and 5 on the main card, and some good fights throughout the whole thing. Andre Fiallo versus Jake Matthews is a great one to start off the prelims. That, in my opinion, is one of the better fights on the whole card. Song Woo Choi versus Joshua Kulibao is a great fight as well. Puncher versus kicker in that one. Could Joshua get off the leg kicks, or will Song Woo Choi's power be too much on the feet? But Joshua is good at evading shots. And the whole main card is great. Della Maddalena versus Ramazan Emeev. In only a second fight, they're going to be testing him, man, and a wrestler. So on paper, it should counter Jack's boxing style, but we're going to see how he pulls through it. If he goes out there and destroys Ramazan, this guy might actually be the real deal. Rogerio Bontorin versus Manel Kape is a great fight to look at as well. Two guys have a lot of power. Bontorin is the bigger fighter, but Manel's on a bit of a roll here. He has a lot of momentum building up. He's on a 2-fight win streak. Bontorin is 0-3-1, 1-no contest in his last 4 fights. Given he's been fighting some of the best fighters in the whole flyweight division, but he's going up against another one. He needs to make something happen here. And Manel is a super dangerous fighter. I wonder how Manel is going to get around Bontorin's defensive style. Then, of course, we're running it back. Weili versus Joanna again. The first one was one of the best fights of all time, but now a 3-rounder. And with Joanna on a layoff, with Weili more active, it does create a different kind of dynamic this time. I have a feeling it's not going to be as fun as the last one, but even still, no matter what, it's going to be good because of the styles of these two. Shevchenko versus Santos is a Shevchenko fight. And Glover Teixeira versus Jiri Prochazka, man, this one I'm most excited for. And it potentially could be one of the fastest ending light heavyweight championship fights of all time. Glover takes him down, it's probably over. Jiri touches him one time, it's probably over. Do not leave your seat and sit at the edge the whole time. That fight can end at any second. But the prospect of the whole night is Della Maddalena, for sure. The guy has amazing boxing skill. Young fighter at 25 years old. Sky's the limit for him. And he's really progressing at all different skills of his game. His grappling's looking nice. His kicks are looking nice. His defending kicks, which is something a lot of boxers in the sport don't really do. And at a young age, he's already getting these kind of defenses on point. It's going to be tough to get past this guy when he hits his late 20s. There really is no fighter of the night. It's really the two guys in the main event, and that's the banger. Banger fight of the whole night is Glover Teixeira versus Jiri Prochazka. We could definitely see a scenario where Teixeira gets dropped and tries to take Jiri down, and they scramble a little bit there. He probably gets on top of Jiri. Jiri survives somehow, gets out of the round, goes into the second and repeats. Glover gets tagged again. Like, crazy stuff can go on here, given that Glover doesn't have the best chin. Jiri has some of the scariest power we've ever seen in the weight class. But Glover's jiu-jitsu is on another level, and Jiri's grappling hasn't looked the best. Big holes for both fighters to pick at. The fight of the night, even though I don't think it's going to be as good as the first, Weili versus Joanna, I still believe is the best fight on the whole card, even if it doesn't deliver the way it delivered the first time. They're going to have to strike with each other the whole time. Weili could try to take Joanna to the ground, but it's going to be very difficult. Joanna has some of the best takedown defense out of all the female fighters I've ever seen. And given her high volume and sniper hybrid of a striking style, it's going to cause Weili still to try to make something happen. She can't just sit at the end of the punches and take them and defend against them because there's too many coming at her, and Joanna is super precise like a sniper. So there's going to be some fun collisions on that one. And finally, the stake of the night. The fighter that is in hot waters is Rogerio Bontorin. The guy has not won since August of 2019, winless in his last 4 fights. And he only has 2 wins in the UFC, one of them by split decision. And he missed weight 2 fights ago. He loses this one, it's probably over for him, to be honest. And with that, we're going to go right to our first fight. I can't wait for this one, man. Della Maddalena versus Ramazan. This is your boxer versus wrestler matchup, where Jack is going to have the clear power advantage, the clear speed advantage, the youth advantage, and Ramazan's going to have the experience and the wrestling behind him. But he's super defensive on the feet, and he has a very obvious rhythm. He doesn't really set things up, mix things up. He doesn't throw feints. He kind of attacks in singular numbers. In the orthodox stance, he'll be like, wait a little bit, jab, wait a little bit, right hand, wait a little bit, front kick, wait a little bit, single leg takedown. The rhythm that he fights at is one of the easier kind of rhythms to ever go up against. It's extremely obvious knowing when he's going to attack. But for Jack, it's a bit different because he's dangerous on the front foot, on the back foot, creating angles at any moment. And once it seems like he's not moving his head, he's putting up that tight guard, one of the best boxing guards in the UFC right now. Once he's shelling up on your punches and your punch is not able to get through, all of a sudden when you think you found an opening on him, he pivots, angles off on the outside of your punch and counters you. Jack Maddalena is one of the true boxers of MMA. He keeps it pure while also checking leg kicks, which is something very rare for a boxer in this sport. And so far in his Contender Series fight, showed good takedown defense. And knowing Ramazan's rhythm, it's going to be even easier for Jack to see when the takedowns are going to be coming at him. But the fact that he does come in a bit too quick, he likes to cover ground and get right in front of them so he can hit around the guard, rip up body shots and stuff like that, and angle off in these tight spaces, he could run the risk of getting countered by a takedown. But Ramazan's usual takedowns are not blast double legs and stuff. You generally see him shooting for a single, and then try to take you down at an angle. His takedowns are usually 2 steps, not that 1 step like a lot of American wrestlers go for, where they create contact and they're already following through with it. With Ramazan, he creates contact, then goes another path to take you to the ground, and that can make it more difficult to take someone like Jack down. So potentially how I see this fight going is, I could see Jack tagging Ramazan on the feet, maybe not knocking him out early or anything like that, but causing damage until Ramazan starts to shoot takedowns. Once Ramazan shoots a takedown, either Jack gets taken down and rises up eventually, as we've seen Ramazan scramble with opponents, even like Danny Roberts, who doesn't have great wrestling at all. So I could see Jack standing up, causing more damage. Ramazan shoots another takedown, Jack defends it, more shots landing in close range. And this pattern is going to continue until Jack eventually finishes Ramazan. So my prediction for this fight, I'm going to go to Jack Della Maddalena, and I'm going to go by a 3rd round TKO. I think his overall skill set is ahead of Ramazan's overall skill set. Ramazan's striking is just not up to par at all. And interesting, my bookie also has Jack as a bit of a favorite here. And then we go to the fight a lot of people are looking forward to. Weili versus Joanna Jedrzejczyk 2. The winner of this fight is going to get a title shot. It's been pretty much confirmed, and it makes the most sense, to be honest. Rose doesn't really deserve a title shot right now. She probably needs one more win to get back at it. Maybe fight Mackenzie Dern, while the winner of these 2 goes and fights Carla Esparza. Now, there's an interesting mental dynamic in this one. Joanna has not fought since they fought each other, and that's been some time, man. So Joanna's been inactive, and the last fighter she had to focus on was Weili. And as for Weili, she had a humbling experience, losing to Rose Namajunas twice and also losing her belt, snapping her 21 win streak, and in the rematch against Rose, she looked better than ever. So here's the thing, when it comes to being active, Weili is definitely going to have the advantage. But Joanna can also have an advantage as well, for the fact that she only has to focus on one fighter for 2 whole camps. The only fighter she had to focus on for her last 2 fights was Weili, while Weili's been focusing on Rose instead, and now has to refocus on Joanna. So even though Weili's gonna have the most of the mental advantage going into the rematch, also the fact she won the first fight, there is an interesting part of that for Joanna, where maybe she's gonna make more adjustments in the rematch than Weili will. And wait, I just want to know something. Who won the first 3 rounds of their first fight? It's not super relevant because training for a 3-round fight is different than a 5-round fight, so things are going to be a bit different, but I'm just curious. Okay, 2 judges gave Joanna 2 rounds out of the first 3, but they were very close. So perhaps Joanna also understands a way to move, a way to operate in the first 3 rounds that Weili may be not able to do as well. But that could be because Weili had to get used to the range. She had to get used to Joanna striking. In the later rounds, she started to go after her, getting inside of the range and start landing her power shots. But potentially in a rematch, she already has that kind of figured out. She doesn't need as much time in the early rounds to feel out the range, feel out the speed and stuff, and she could kind of attack Joanna full throttle right away. And she fought Rose Namajunas, who is as similar length to Joanna, which maybe even gives Weili even more of an advantage going into the rematch. And the fact that she's been developing her wrestling a lot more, stemming off the second Rose fight, it shows more wrinkles that Weili's able to go to against Joanna to potentially win on the scorecards instead of trying to look to knock her out. But Joanna had an interesting thing to say about the rematch. She said she needs to fight smarter. What that most likely means is not go to war, not trade shots, not trying to get the better of Weili, because Weili definitely has the power advantage. So potentially Joanna's going to fight this one by sticking and moving, jabbing in the face, front kicks to the body, right hands only when she sees that they will land, some leg kicks here and there, but this can take away the combinations that Joanna is so successful with, because that's ultimately where Weili was starting to tag her. When Joanna would put together like 3-4 punch combinations, Weili would get hit by like 2 of them, but her one punch would overwhelm what Joanna's tagging her with. So limiting the amount of strikes that Joanna throws is potentially better for her in a 3-round fight. She could potentially move around a lot more, pot-shotting her, just being a sniper instead of a combination puncher, and try to win through the scorecards on that. But Weili's takedowns can negate a lot of that as well. So this fight's super technical, man. This fight can definitely go back and forth in my opinion, as it does seem that Weili can have a bit of an issue reaching in with her initial attacks. And if she has a mobile target like Joanna, who's going to constantly pot-shot her, the evasiveness of that style might be enough to beat Zhang Weili, to be honest. The main thing I really want to watch out for is if she could take Joanna down this time, because she shot in a lot of takedowns in the first fight. She shot in 8 total, and only one of them was successful with barely any control time. So ultimately, my prediction for this fight, it's super tight, man. It's really close, back and forth. I can definitely see it. And it just comes down to, will the fighters approach it in the most intelligent manner? You know what? My prediction for this, I'm going to go with Joanna Jedrzejczyk. I'm going to go with the underdog in this one. Joanna's a pretty big favorite, which I do not agree with. Even if I were to pick her to win, which I can do very easily, she is not a favorite like that. But I think Joanna should win this through a decision. If Joanna finishes Zhang Weili, that would be insane. A knockout happening would be more Zhang Weili knocking out Joanna. That I can see way more than Joanna knocking out Zhang Weili. And then we go to the co-main event. Valentina Shevchenko versus Taila Santos. Eventually, we want to see that opponent that can give Valentina that kind of challenge. Is Taila Santos it? She has a good record. She has a lot of power in her hands. She's super strong in the clinch, has good trips. She's a little bit longer. So by attributes and stuff, she definitely has it all to be somewhat of a rival to Valentina, but the skills are just not close. Taila Santos could be pretty sloppy with her punches. She wings them out there, elbows flaring and stuff, and she becomes so flat when she's throwing punches. Against someone like Valentina, who's going to be evading them, pulling on them, and trying to clinch up with her, tripping her out, getting into the ground, and I believe she is better on the ground for sure. I think a lot of what Santos attacks with can ultimately be negated. If she has a chance in this, it is somehow tagging Valentina when she's trying to pull away. Maybe she can get some trips in there, but if she gets on top of Valentina, it's going to be tough to really do anything on top of her, because when you see the bantamweights get on top of Valentina, it's still not enough. Nunes got some good shots on her, but really couldn't do that much. Pena couldn't do much to her, and these fighters are much bigger than Taila Santos. So ultimately, my prediction for this fight, Valentina Shevchenko wins yet again. I think she's going to win by a submission in the 3rd round. Minus 600 is maybe a little bit more of what I would choose, but it makes sense. And then we finally get to the main event. The fight I've been waiting for, man. It's such an important fight for that light heavyweight division. Glover Teixeira versus Jiri Prochazka. The old versus the new. Man, this is going to be one of the most suspenseful fights of all time. At any moment, this one is going to end. I would not even be shocked if Jiri knocks out Glover in 10 seconds. And I'm not even kidding. I would not even be shocked if Glover takes Jiri down within like 10 seconds and finishes him at like 30. The amount of holes in both these guys' defense are so enormous. Glover's striking defense is just not there, man. He puts up high guards and stuff, but he can be so open to shots even still. While Jiri, even though he's developing his takedown defense, and actually it's better than a lot of people think it is, his grappling defense so far as what we've seen, it's just not going to be an issue for Glover at all. So I could definitely see Jiri tagging Glover as long as it stays on the feet. And I could definitely see Glover, if he gets it to the ground, completely destroying Jiri. But also we cannot underestimate Glover's power and his ability to hurt Jiri as well with his hands. I mean, look at the amount of knockouts between these two guys. 17 for Glover, 25 for Jiri. We have a total of 42 knockouts between these two fighters. That's insane, man. And there's 13 years between them. And with that age, man, comes the experience that Glover has. Glover has a lot of experience, man. He's went up against so many high-level fighters. Won against most of them, lost against some of them, but ultimately grew enough to become one of the oldest champions in UFC history. A real good feel story, man. But old fighters like this cannot keep going at the top. And will it be Jiri Prochazka, who seemingly is the perfect opponent to change the guard to? Is this the time that Glover finally falls to the younger generation? Because he's been destroying them. Yuri's a newer generation to the Thiago Santoses of the world, Anthony Smiths, and all those guys. But Glover's been destroying them with a bit of adversity, of course. I mean, got tagged on almost every single fight so far besides against Jan. But I believe Jiri, punch for punch, has a different kind of power. Thiago Santos is really hard, but it's mainly the speed behind his punches, and even the way he hit Glover, look at the form of his punches, they weren't the kind of shots you would expect to knock someone out with one. Jiri Prochazka throws shots to knock you out in one every time. So maybe Jiri and Thiago Santos could have a comparable amount of power, but the way Jiri throws his shots is way more lethal. And I don't know if Glover has the chin to take a right hand the way Volkan took, or an elbow the way Dominic Reyes took, or the flying knees he ended so many of his past opponents with. I don't know if Glover is going to be able to take that, man. And Glover is pretty easily hit, man. Not the greatest defense at all. Leaves himself open, has a specific opening up the center, and Jiri can even get around the guard to the side. He has an enormous reach, 80 inches, which can definitely wrap around Glover's high guard. So the uppercuts for Jiri are going to be there just like they were for Anthony Johnson and Alexander Gustafsson. The hooks around the guard just like Thiago Santos was able to land. The straight right, the knees up the center. From the beginning of the fight, Jiri's going to be looking to decapitate this guy. But also from the beginning of the fight, Glover's going to look to ground him and drown him. Take him to the ground, smash him with ground and pound, try to look for the chokes, and make Jiri give up positions that's going to be an easy back take, or an easy guillotine, or an easy arm triangle. Those are the main submissions I could see Glover pulling off on Jiri. Because whenever Jiri gets taken to the ground, he generally gives up his back. That is not a good thing to see. So the fight can definitely go either way here. Glover could take this fight to the ground and end it really quick. Jiri can end this fight in any moment it stays standing. And there even is a scenario that Glover can catch Jiri with a left hook or something. Because just like Glover, Jiri can be very defenseless on the feet as well. But he does have the reach, the speed, the athleticism to fall behind on as a means of a defense. Not necessarily his boxing skill or something, but the attributes that he has can make his defense more effective than Glover's. History shows whenever there's a grappler versus striker matchup, even if the grappler is older, they generally win the fight. But history also shows it's nearly impossible to go on long win streaks in your 40s. So ultimately, my prediction for this fight, I'm going to go with Jiri Prochazka. And I'm going to go by a first round knockout. It's a scary fight for both guys, man. Teixeira can definitely win here. I do not agree with the odds at all. I think Jiri should be able to fight this one smart, not go too crazy, not be too aggressive, but put the pressure on Glover using his reach and his jab. Just pick out openings here and there, keep the slower Glover at the end of his punches. And I believe even not with his hardest punch, he should be able to put Glover down. But not chasing the ground, not trying to get the ground and pound in there. Jiri did say in one of the interviews that his grappling is about ground and pound. If he drops Glover, he should not chase him down there. Allow Glover to get back up and anticipate that Glover's going to be shooting really quickly. But even still with all that, I do not agree that Jiri is a minus 200 favorite, given how easily Glover can beat him. But if you want to capitalize on these odds, the best place to go is mybookie.ag, where not only do they have the best individual odds, like Glover winning, or Jiri winning, or Weili winning, etc., but even the props, like the methods of victory, are very interesting for this card. For an example, Glover Teixeira to win by a finish, knockout, TKO, or submission is a plus 225. That is the most likely way he would win the fight. So pretty much a good strategy, if you are someone betting on Glover, is actually to bet on him winning by a finish rather than betting on Glover just to win in general. And that goes for Jiri as well. If you're going to bet on Jiri, it's probably better to bet on him to win by a finish over him just to win generally. Is it possible this fight goes to a decision? It is, but highly unlikely. And if you want to take a step further, you could look at the first round for both guys. Plus 650 for Glover to win in the first round, plus 250 for Jiri Prochazka to win in the first round. And that number increases the further the rounds go. And you can even look at something similar for the Joanna and Weili fight. Joanna's best chance of winning the fight is for sure by a decision. It'd be crazy to see her finish Weili. So Joanna to win by a decision is a plus 225. With Weili, it's trickier. Because remember, the fight is 3 rounds, so she can win by a decision, but she does have that kind of power to finish off Joanna. With her, it's a lot riskier to pick the method of victory, so maybe with Weili, you could just pick her to generally win the fight. So with or without those props, you can even go and line up a parlay. Just putting together fighters that you think are going to win will have you multiply your earnings. And when you sign up with mybookie.ag, remember to get the deposit bonus by using the promo code WEASEL. That's WEASLE. MyBookie will match up your first deposit all the way up to $1,000. Make sure to use the promo code and visit mybookie.ag today. And looking at the rest of the odds, Manel Kape being a minus 225 is pretty crazy, man. I could definitely see him winning, but Rogerio Bontorin is a live dog in that one, especially through his takedowns and using his size against Manel to hold him down and ride out decisions or even try to chase his submission. And honestly, the rest that we haven't talked about are not that crazy. So I can kind of agree with the rest of the card. And that is the end of the predictions, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you did, make sure to give the video a thumbs up. If you enjoy my content, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell, and I'll see you guys in the next video.